Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Adrianna Felder, and I have the pleasure to be the valedictorian of the class of 2019. You know, I can imagine how surprised you all are at this turn of events. Believe me, I'm just as surprised as you. This medal, it wasn't supposed to be mine. I did nothing to deserve this on my own. It was a team that stood by me every step of the way, and if I could engrave on this medal everybody that helped me get to this place, I wouldn't have enough room. People like Linnea Allen, like Liu, like Olivia, like Amani if you're in the crowd, and so many more people. So to say the least, this is a tremendous honor, and I am humbled to be your 2019 valedictorian. You know, when Miss Thrower told me a few short days ago, I was stunned. In fact, I was in disbelief. I was sitting in her office looking around for hidden cameras, wondering if this was some big prank. I was expecting her to turn to that big monitor, you know, in the back of her room, and it's a picture of me, dumbfounded. And she's like, smile, you're on candid camera. You know what that is. If you're under 40, you got to Google it. That joke wasn't for you. Honestly, there was no way a girl with a learning disability who wasn't even counted in the roster could be vowed. A good friend of mine actually came up to the announcement and very bluntly said to me, wow, I didn't even know you were smart. And I responded, I didn't know either. Well, anyway, I know I'm talking to a crowd full of geniuses, but if you've ever said or spelled valedictorian as valedictorian, you have just about as much of a right to be as me, be up here as me. God bless Grammarly. Well, to be more serious, if I could use one phrase to sum up the last 4 years, it would be to endure until the end. Redundant, right? It's a concept best described as perseverance. In the story of the tortoise and the hare, Aesop tells us the story of a tortoise who challenges a
Hare.
Come on now, y'all know the story. Thank you. Hare to a race, promising the self-assured rabbit that the slow and steady would win the race. As the Bible says, the race is not to the swift, but to him that endureth till the end. Ecclesiastes 9:11, if you want to check me, any of the old folks in the room. So the race began. The hare took a strong lead, leaving the tortoise in the dust. Even so, the tortoise was unfazed. He kept pushing forward. When the hare saw nothing but his own dust clouds behind him, he decided to take a break. Relax. This fool is so slow, he's never going to catch up. And so, the hare kept pushing forward despite all of this. We can think about the hare, what kind of personality he had. Probably played ball every day after school, went to a couple parties, knowing he could just look up all the answers the next day in class. So he fell asleep. And the tortoise just kept pushing forward, kept studying, kept asking questions, kept asking for help despite having all the odds stacked against him. Finally, after many long nights of studying, the tortoise finally took the lead. Remembering that the race is not to the but to him that endureth till the end. Y'all doing better. Amen. When the hare realized it was too late, the tortoise was already standing in front of a crowd of over 200 people giving the valedictorian speech. I declare that there's two mentalities that we can have when we see obstacles in our path. The first and most common being the hare mindset. The hare mindset, you can consider it, to be characterized by somebody who searches for instant gratification. They settle for a passing grade instead of striving for excellence. I remember Mr. Mason telling me that for some people, a 93 on a test is easy. Quite frankly, if you ask me, it was very hard. I'm one of those test takers, like you take an hour, I took 2 hours, and I just kind of stared at the paper, and I was wondering, like, the harder I stared at it, maybe the answer will materialize, you know? But anyway, these are the people in college I guarantee will press snooze on their alarm one too many times and end up failing the class for failure to attend. So the question is, you see, if you can get a passing grade without trying, why aim to do better. People with the tortoise mindset recognize that it's not necessarily speed or natural ability, but consistency that makes all the difference. Because when you're consistent, habits are created. And if those habits are good habits, they'll become a part of your character that can help push you ahead in the race of life. Once you learn the tortoise mindset, hard work and consistency characterizes anything that you do, and anything is possible with God's help. All right. The class of 2019 has come a long way from where we began. Our class came in like the Hare, a little reckless. All right, okay, maybe a lot of reckless. We made many irrational and impulsive decisions and lots of mistakes. We essentially fell asleep at the wheel, except for in Mr. Henry and Miss Camp's class. You fell asleep at your own risk there. In our Hare moments, we made TA an unforgettable place, leaving our mark in the school, in spray paint, of course. Decided to do a little bit of decorating. Miles, you know. In fact, we spent so much time with our lovely principal, Miss Thrower. We had to institute a new class at TA called Miss Thrower Just Wants to Have a Talk with the Freshman 101. We lost some teachers we'll never forget, Mr. Preston, Mr. Hooker, but we gained new ones we'll never forget. Well, we'll gain new ones in the process. Sophomore year was a blur. We knew each other a little better, grew a little closer, and started to really bond as a class. And before we knew it, the year was over. And so was everything I have to say about it. Then we were juniors, and life hit like a ton of bricks. Can I get an amen from the juniors? People started taking more AP classes, SATs began, and we had to start seriously looking at colleges. Now we're upperclassmen. People look up to us. Coaches rely on us. And some of us even mentors to underclassmen. Knowing this, we couldn't continue with the Hare mindset, expecting a different result than what we got year one. That's called insanity. We decided we would need to be tortoises, realizing that the SAT isn't passed in one night of studying in tears, but many nights of studying and many tears. Using that same mentality of consistency and persevering, even when the going got rough our senior year. But despite our greatest efforts, we still got sick with a highly contagious disease called senioritis. I think we can all thank Kelly for that one. She had senioritis since before freshman year. But this disease made it nearly impossible to finish the race. We almost gave up, threw in the towel, but we didn't. We lost sleep just to give our family something to be proud of. We crossed the finish line and stand before you remembering the race is not to the
Swift,
but to those who endure to the
end.
Class of 2019, now having finished the race, as future aerospace engineers, future sports managers, future orthopedic surgeons, future lawyers, future veterinarians, future politicians. So, I'd like to make a few special thanks on behalf of the senior class. Thank you, Ms. Thor, for your patience. I know we brought you closer to the Lord than ever before. Thank you, parents, for your support. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for putting up with me. I know you lost a lot of hair and sleep right along with me. I love you both dearly. Thank you, faculty. We couldn't have passed without you, especially Ms. Gracia for just being my rock and encouraging me to pursue my passion. Now, I think the senior class would be remiss if we didn't thank the next thing on this list. Honestly, I think we all have participated in a great deal and got so much from this. Special thanks to Google, Yahoo Answers, PhotoMath, SparkNotes, Wikipedia. We definitely wouldn't have passed without you. Also, thank you to everyone here today for coming to support us, giving us water as we ran, some running with us, and cheering us every step of the way. So I leave you with this. If I could do it with dyslexia, Side note, I'm sorry to all the teachers who felt the need to put my handwritten papers through Tory Translate. I know you couldn't read it because I couldn't either. So sorry, it just kind of happened. But on a more serious note, you can do anything you want in this world with enough hard work. We all have obstacles in our lives, but if we should remember the tortoise, taking each problem one step at a time, we will overcome every barrier in our path. The time for excuses is over. It is our time to rise up to the plate and cross the finish line, no matter what it takes. We haven't come to the race to admit defeat against the opposition, but to prove them wrong. Yes, the class of 2019 has overcome to succeed. Whether that's overcoming a learning disability, whether that's succeeding despite growing up in a single-parent household, whether that's succeeding despite not having the best grades, being an outcast or barely getting financially cleared. No matter what you come from, I know that everyone in the class of 2019 was born to be an overcomer, born to finish what they've started with more than what they started with. The Hare may be built to run, to soar, but you, Tortoise, were made by God to walk in purpose with a reason, no matter what that reason may be. And Satan will do everything in his power to make sure that you don't cross that finish line. So when he does come, and you bet he will, when he's beating you down and you find that you can't walk the plans for your purpose, you crawl to them. And if you can't crawl, dream, you've already won the victory. Because your dream, your hope, your passion, your ability to conquer molehills that seem like mountains is unstoppable as long as you never stop moving forward. Enduring until the Romans 8:37 tells us, in all things we are more than conquerors to him that loved us. So, classmates, today, I encourage you to be slow, to be steady, to take each day one day at a time. I encourage you to be tortoises, walk in your purpose, and rise to the challenges set before us with God's help as we move to the next chapter of our lives. Now, I know that we came in with Obama as our president. I really miss him, honestly. So I just thought it was only right to go out like he did. So I have 2 words left from the classes with seniors, 2019. Seniors out.